There's a moment right before you say something honest, when you pause, not because you don't know what you feel, but because you already know how they might react. So you soften it, you adjust the tone, you remove the part that might make things uncomfortable. And it sounds like understanding, it sounds like maturity, but something inside you goes quiet every time you do it. It doesn't start as a problem. Being understanding feels like a strength. You notice what others are feeling, you read the room, you sense tension. Before it's spoken, you become the one who gets it. You see why they're distant, you see why they pull away. You even see the pain behind the way they treat you. And instead of reacting, you absorb. You explain their behavior to yourself in ways that make it easier to stay. They're just overwhelmed. They've been through a lot. They don't mean it like that. And the more you understand, the less you question. At first, it feels like connection, like you're building something deeper, like you're creating safety. But slowly, something shifts, because while you're busy understanding them, you stop noticing what's happening to you. The small moments when you felt dismissed, the subtle times you felt unimportant, the conversations where your needs never quite made it in. You don't ignore them, you reinterpret them. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, you tell yourself they didn't mean it. You tell yourself it'll get better, and in doing that, you slowly start negotiating against your own feelings, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone. It comes from being deeply present with someone, while parts of you stay unspoken. And the strange thing is, from the outside, everything looks fine. You're calm, you're patient, you're easy to be with, you don't create conflict, you don't demand too much, you become safe but not fully seen, because being understood by someone else usually requires you to first express something that might not be easy to hear. And if you've trained yourself to avoid that moment, then connection never quite reaches you. A lot of this starts earlier than it seems. There's a kind of emotional intelligence that isn't learned, it's adapted. You learn how to read subtle shifts in mood. You learn how to avoid triggering reactions. You learn how to stay connected by minimizing yourself, not consciously, just slowly and over time. Understanding becomes a way to stay safe. You become the one who doesn't overreact, the one who sees both sides, the one who keeps things steady. And people appreciate that. They feel comfortable around you. They don't feel judged. They don't feel pressured. But there's something they don't feel either. The weight of losing you, because you've made yourself so easy to stay with, that there's never a moment that forces them to face what it might cost to not meet you halfway. And it's not that they don't care, it's that nothing in the dynamic requires them to show it more clearly. You understand their silence, so they don't have to explain it. You understand their distance, so they don't have to close it. You understand their inconsistency, so it never gets challenged. And slowly, understanding becomes permission. Not intentional permission, but emotional permission to keep things exactly as they are. There's a moment, somewhere in the middle of all this, where something inside you starts to feel tired. Not from loving them, but from constantly translating them. From always being the one who makes sense of things. From carrying both sides of the emotional weight. And you might not even say it out loud. You just feel it. In the way conversations feel slightly heavier. In the way silence feels longer than it should. In the way you hesitate more before sharing something real. And then comes a realization that doesn't arrive all at once. It builds quietly. That maybe you've been so focused on understanding them that no one has been understanding you, not because they're incapable, but because the version of you they experience doesn't fully reveal what needs to be understood. You've become fluent in their emotions, but slightly disconnected from expressing your own. And the longer that continues, the more invisible certain parts of you become, not to them, to yourself. There's a difference between empathy and self-abandonment, but it doesn't always feel different in the moment. Because both can look like patience, both can look like calm, both can look like emotional maturity, but one keeps you connected to yourself, the other slowly erodes that connection, while convincing you you're doing the right thing. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, Because it's easy to see when someone else is being distant. It's harder to see when you've been disappearing quietly to maintain closeness. You didn't choose to feel less important. You just kept choosing understanding in moments where something inside you needed acknowledgement. And over time, that creates a pattern where your presence in the relationship becomes consistent, but your needs become optional. Not because anyone decided that, but because they were never fully brought into the light. There's a certain kind of strength in being able to understand people deeply, but there's also a cost when that understanding replaces expression, when it becomes a substitute for being known. Because connection doesn't just come from understanding someone. It comes from being met, and being met requires being visible, not perfectly, not aggressively, but honestly. And if honesty feels risky, understanding becomes the safer choice. So you stay composed, you stay aware, you stay emotionally intelligent and quietly. You carry things that were never meant to be carried alone. What makes this pattern so difficult to notice is that it rarely creates immediate problems. It creates slow ones, subtle disconnections, unspoken distances, a feeling that something is missing, without knowing exactly what. And because nothing feels clearly wrong, you don't question it, you just keep adjusting until one day, you realize you've been present in every moment, but not fully expressed in any of them. And that realization doesn't come with anger. It comes with a kind of quiet clarity that being understanding was never the problem. But losing yourself in that understanding was, and once you see it, you can't unsee it, not in the way you pause before speaking, not in the way you soften things, not in the way you anticipate reactions before they even happen. You start noticing the space between what you feel and what you allow yourself to say, and maybe nothing changes immediately. Maybe the conversations stay the same. Maybe the dynamic doesn't shift overnight, but something inside you becomes more honest, more aware, less willing to disappear quietly, and that awareness doesn't push you away from people. It slowly brings you back to yourself, not loudly, not all at once, just enough to feel the difference.